another episode of the Learn Recruiter podcast. I'm your host, Brett Clemenson, and in today's episode, I want to share a story with you. Last week, I reached out to a fan of this podcast, actually, and they're probably listening today. I'm not going to mention their name, for the purpose of cross-referencing candidates and clients, because we work in parallel markets. We don't really cross over, and I got a brief in from a big client, and I just looked at my desk and went, I don't have the time to do it. So I thought, actually, this person might be able to help. And so it was a good conversation. Naturally, though, I'm curious, right? We get on with the business. Then I just asked the question, how long have you been recruiting for? Turns out they've not been recruiting that long, which is why they're listening to the podcast, but they are a professional in their field that they recruit, and they were there for 15 odd years. So their network is actually quite strong. I'm telling you now, talking to her, she carries herself like she's been recruiting for 20 years. So I have zero doubts she's going to fly as a recruiter. But why am I bringing this story up is because it was where it went was interesting, and it's prompted me to think, this would be a great episode. We're going along, and because they're new in recruitment, they almost put these barriers or limitations around themselves as to where they want to get. I go along those questions. Are you happy with your billings? Oh, look, I am happy with my billings. I'm a little bit short of where I wanted to be, but within 5 years, I want to be doing 800K years. I love the ambition. 800K is any recruiter is a great recruiter. But I said to her, why 5 years? She said, I think that's how long it's going to take me to get there. And I just stopped her. I said, nah, you're literally limiting your own belief here, because 5 years is a freaking long time, right? And you've heard this saying that if you allow yourselves an hour to do a task, guess what? You're going to take an hour to do that task. When you allot a specific amount of time to get something done, you typically get it done. Let's go back to uni. I've got 2 weeks until that's due. You will get it done in 2 weeks' time. If you say this 6 months, I'm going to get this done, guess what? You're going to get it done in 6 weeks. Humans have this ability to just spread that work out and use the entirety of that time to get something done. Why do you think when Christmas comes, there's a huge firm deadline, so much stuff gets done? Think about it. Think about how much at work gets done, everything that needs to be wrapped up, all the pressure, everything ramps up just before Christmas because there's a hard deadline and everyone's on that same deadline. Humans respond so well to timeframes and deadlines, and particularly immediate deadlines, right? So when you go and say, I'm going to take 5 years to allow myself to get up to 800K in billings, I get super nervous because you're going to take 5 years to get there. You will get 5 years to get there, and you're almost giving yourself an excuse not to get there sooner. And that's not what we want. We're here to push ourselves. You might not be here in 5 years' time, and you've missed out on all that opportunity. So I just said to her, look, I understand where 5 year time frame has come from, because you don't believe in yourself yet. You haven't got enough runs on the board yet to say, I can do that month in, month out. But wouldn't you rather push yourself? Wouldn't you rather try? Wouldn't you rather be there next year? So we broke it down. I said, what are you doing a month at the moment? It wasn't bad at all. To get to where they are now to where they need to be for 800 in a year is actually not that much of a step. It was another 1.5 placements a month. That's not a big step. That's not 5 years worth of work. If you're making a placement in a month, well, sure as shit, you can make 2. If you can make 2, you can make 4. You just have to find a replicatable process, and you have to cut out the inefficiencies in your desk. That's what we're here to do. So if you're one of these people sitting there and you think, one day I will get better, one day in 4 years' time, I reckon I'll be an 800K biller. If you're in and around that thinking at all ever, you need to stop it, because 4 to 5 years is way too far down the line. It's not putting enough pressure on today to sharpen those skills, to get better at what you're doing, to really think about how do you go from where you are now to the next level, because it can happen like that. It feels like maybe you need to double. Oh, that's like more than double what I'm building at the moment. It's not double the work. It's actually getting better at closings, getting better at identifying opportunities. It is time on the desk. I'll give you that. You're going to need some time there. But you need to force yourself into that uncomfortable position. And if you don't force yourself into that uncomfortable position, guess what? You're going to keep doing the billings you're doing now. You're going to keep doing the same as you're doing last month, the same as you did the month before, because there's no real pressure. But the moment you go, shit, by this time next year, by September next year, I need to be on my way to almost hitting my 800. Fuck, I'm going to use the time between now and Christmas to just burn, just to get through deals, burn through them, learn as much as I need to learn, talk to as many people as I need to talk to, so that come January 1, 2025, I'm ready for my 800K month, because you should be starting every year with that high number in mind. Don't limit yourself. Don't give yourself 5 years to get there. If you are listening to this, and I know you know who you are, this episode is for you, and I truly, truly believe you can get there. That's all we have time for today. Like, share, subscribe. It really helps us grow. If you're on YouTube, hit that bell button so you get every new episode straight into your inbox when they go up. As always, have an amazing day. May all your deals come true.